news, teen suicide rates are up. To talk about this sudden rise in deaths, here I proudly present Lauren Miller.
Thank you, Valerie. I'll be talking about suicide and the dangers of it. Suicide is when someone kills themselves. A younger person dying because of the hopelessness or frustration is devastating to family, friends, and the community. Parents, siblings, classmates, coaches, and neighbors might be wondering if they could have done something to stop that young person from turning to suicide. The reasons behind teen suicide or suicide attempts can be complex. Although suicide is rare among children and a rate of suicide and suicide attempts increase highly during adolescence. Suicide is the third leading cause of death for 15 to 24-year-olds because of accidents and homicide, according to the CDC.
It's also thought that many more attempts are made for every completed teen suicide. The risk of suicide grows greatly when kids and teens have access to firearms at home, and nearly 60% of all suicides in the United States are committed with a gun. Remember, that's why any guns in your home should be unloaded, locked, and kept out of reach of children and teens.
That's right. Overdose using over-the-counter prescription and non-prescription medicine is also a very common risk for attempting and completing suicide. It's important to carefully monitor all medicines in your home and know that teens will trade different prescriptions at school and carry them or store them in their locker or backpack. Suicide rates differ between boys and girls. Girls think about and attempt suicide about twice as often as boys, and tend to attempt suicide by overdosing on drugs or cutting themselves. Yet boys die from suicide about 4 times as often as girls, and experts think this because they tend to use more lethal methods, such as a gun or noose. Adolescence is also a time of sexual identity, relationships, and need for independence. This can often conflict with the rules and expectations set by others. Young people with mental health problems, such as anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, or insomnia, are at higher risk of suicidal thoughts. Teens going through major life changes, parents' divorce, moving, a parent leaving home due to military service, parental separation, or financial changes. Those who are bullied are at a greater risk of suicidal thoughts. Suicide among teens often happens after a stressful life event, such as problems at school, a breakup with a boyfriend or girlfriend, a death of a loved one, a divorce, or a major family conflict.
Teens who are thinking about suicide might talk about suicide or death in general, give hints that they might not be around anymore, talk about feeling hopeless or feeling guilty, pulling away from friends or family, writing songs, poems, or letters about death, separation, and loss, start giving away treasured possessions to siblings or friends, losing the desire to take part in favorite things or activities, having trouble concentrating or thinking clearly, having changes in eating or sleeping habits, engaging in risk-taking behaviors, losing interest in school or sports. Remember, if you have suicidal thoughts, please talk to an adult, and remember that God loves you. You're not alone, and if you suspect that a loved one is going to commit suicide, please contact this number, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255, or text CONNECT to 741741.
Thank you, Valerie. I will be talking about suicide and the dangers of it. Suicide is when someone kills themselves. A younger person. Justice!
Breaking news, teen suicide rates are up. To talk about this sudden rise in deaths, here I proudly present Lauren Miller. What are you?
She's doing.
Teens
who are thinking about suicide might talk about suicide or death in general. Give hints that they might